The hardest goals are usually the ones that require us to build habits and routines over a longer period of time, especially because those ones usually come with the mindset of I'll get to that eventually, and we just indefinitely put off starting these habits and routines we're supposed to be building. Given that I'm undertaking a 3 months to change your life challenge though, that means that the pressure is on to actually get these routines underway, and recently I've been slipping with them a bit. For that reason, this week my focus is mainly on re-establishing my routines, trying to see how I can make getting them done easier, more likely to happen, so then I'm not trying to cram what could have been 3 months worth of progress into the last week of the challenge. Of course, not all of my goals require routine building, so there are some one-off tasks that need to be done too, but to get started, we have to jump back to Monday morning. Good morning, happy Monday. I am taking a look over my routines tracker, just so that I can kind of remind myself of what routines I'm trying to keep up with. The ones we've got are wake up by 7:30 a.m, social media free morning, setting a daily priority from my task list, having 1 liter of water at least, respecting my work boundaries, stretching, meditation, getting 8,000 steps, eating within my plan or points, and getting into bed by 10:30. Along with this, we also have exercise, which has already been done for today. I only went for a 30-minute one because I have other things that I need to attend to, like putting on the laundry, also making sure I have my shower and get ready for the day before we have our epic goals work along. That one's always a good way to start the week because it gets me amped for goal work for the rest of the week. And if you wanted to find out more, there's a link in the description box. But given the fact that the focus for this week is routines and making sure that I am completing them to a higher percentage than I have for the past couple of weeks, this morning I really just relied on brute force. I haven't necessarily established supplementary systems to assist in doing the routines or to make things easier. And that's kind of what I want to focus on for this week and also in that epic goals session. The process I take for this, I like to call challenge planning, or essentially figuring out the pain points in a system, what might hold you back from getting something done, whether that's like goal related or routine related. So I'm going to be going through all of my routines, figuring out where the pain points are, and hypothesizing some ways that I can avoid those pain points or lessen the pain associated with them, make it more likely that the routine actually happens. For now though, I'm going to go have a shower because I just walked and I feel gross. Of course, I have other actions that I want to take throughout the week that aren't routine related, but those ones end up in the priorities list, or I end up putting them on the general task list, just depending on if it's like a one-off thing, so the priority, or a weekly thing on the task list. For now though, I need to write myself a task list for the rest of the day so I know what I need to get done, because there is definitely a lot of work that I need to do, mainly in the form of video editing. But those 3 work blocks will happen after our goal work along. Hello, how's it going? What are we working on today? You know, I'm working on challenge planning my routines because I have been slipping on them and I would like to get back on track. I've written myself a list of the ones that I want to do challenge planning for. Kind of ran out of room, so the last one's up there. But essentially I'm just going to go through one by one, figure out what's holding me back from getting this done or what has the potential to hold me back, and then figure out what I can do about it. I'm just doing this one in a table on Microsoft Word because I can type faster than I can handwrite, and I just want to get these ideas out and into somewhere that I can kind of make sense of them. This is the list that I've written for myself so far. So just going through, trying to think of like, what is the pain point? What is the difficulty that I'm having? And then what can I do in relation to that? Or how could I possibly solve that issue, make it less of an issue, or eliminate it completely? Some of these things are kind of one and done, so it's like, you know, setting up those timers for the heaters so that they kick in earlier and it's not cold and I'm less likely to just dwell in bed because I want to delay getting out into a cold house. Whereas other ones are more like routines in themselves, so keeping on that track of like getting out of bed by 7:30. If I am cold and if I don't want to get out of bed, usually it's because my feet are going to be cold. They're going to hit the cold floor and it's going to be uncomfortable. So maybe I prioritize wearing socks to bed or keeping socks beside the bed so that I can put them on my feet before I get out of the bed. Will I be doing all of these things this week? Probably not. There are quite a few things on this list, but at least it's something that I can try to make keeping these routines or building these routines just a little bit easier. An easy one that I can do right now is deleting DoorDash from my phone because that is associated with the problem of the temptation of takeout. Thankfully that one was super quick and easy to do, so I can check that off the list at least. For the rest of these though, I'm gonna go through and write myself essentially a task list for the week, with the full expectation that not all of them are gonna get done, but at least some of them could get done, and that is gonna help me out. I prioritized pulling out the ones that are like one-off actions rather than mindset shifts or kind of routine building in themselves, but it gives me a list of things that I can do this week to help me out. For now though, one of the things that I can do is get started on my editing, because Monday editing always takes me a while, and I typically typically leave it until 11 a.m. my time, like after the 2-hour block that I dedicate to goal work. At least an hour of that is with the Epic Goals work along, and then usually another hour is either with that work along or by myself. But because a lot of the problem areas I've identified kind of rely on me keeping my work boundaries, and Monday is the hardest day to keep my work boundaries, I figured getting started earlier probably makes sense. The first video for the day has been edited and uploaded, so now it's on to the second one. That one being the vlog, which will take considerably longer, considering this one had like a half hour of footage and took about an hour to edit. The vlog usually has several hours of footage and takes several hours to edit. Thankfully, last week Jess actually did some pre-editing though, so there's not quite as much as there could have been. 23 minutes down, only 5 hours to go. It is currently 1:02 and thus time to go and get lunch. I'm actually up to editing for Friday in the vlog, which is pretty dang decent, and I also know that there's a decent chunk of footage on Saturday because that's when meal prep was done, and usually I just leave the camera rolling so I can just do things. So I'm actually quite optimistic about getting this done in a timely manner and not going over my work boundary for the day, like being able to finish up my work at 5:30 or whenever it says on the calendar. The fact that I don't even know when the boundary is not a good sign. I did note though that I did overshoot into my lunch block, only by 2 minutes, but still, that's just because I was kind of distracted and looking at my phone at the time. So I think that setting an alarm for myself for going to lunch would probably be a good idea. Thankfully, that's already something I identified in my challenge planning, and I can do that today. Not that it'll help me today, because it's lunchtime now. This is the earliest that I've gotten the vlog done so far, so that is definitely an accomplishment. I still have to make the thumbnail for it, so technically I'll still be going over the work boundary, but by considerably less than I usually would, so props for that. I got distracted by Instagram, but it is 6:11, which makes this probably the earliest that I have finished on a Monday, at least since starting this challenge. And as said, I did get distracted by Instagram, so I did finish earlier than that, but we'll never know what time it actually was. For now though, I'm gonna go and have some dinner, do some stretching, because I want to get as many of my routines checked off on my tracker today as possible. Like technically the boundary respecting can't really be checked off given when I finished, but the rest of them, we still have hope.
Already successful. Essentially, the whole thing makes me sad now.
It's now 8:20 and I've actually been thinking about my routines tracker, and one of the ones in particular I'm tracking is regarding my eating, and eating within the kind of like plan that I've set for myself for any given week and such. I don't think that the thing I am tracking is actually helpful for me. I think what is going to be helpful is keeping track of whether I keep track of my eating, which probably sounds a little bit silly, but I have just really fallen off with recording what I've been eating, recording it accurately, recording it completely, which means that I don't necessarily have a great appreciation of what I have been ingesting, which is tricky when you're trying to eat in a calorie deficit because that's what you need to be able to lose weight. So I am going to blank out the thing that I currently have on my tracker and adjust it so that it says to track my eating rather than to eat within the plan, because I think that getting back on track with tracking is probably a good first step. It's kind of like a take on the habit before the habit. Habit before the habit is something like, instead of tracking go for a walk, it would be like put on your walking shoes. It's the thing that comes before the action that you kind of want to take. It's very small, very bite-sized, less than 2 minutes kind of a thing. Tracking my eating doesn't necessarily come before the healthy eating, but it could, because sometimes I put things into my tracker to kind of like solidify the fact that I'm gonna eat them. Kind of in a similar way to like checking something off on your routines tracker before you've actually done it, so now you have to do it, so that then your routines tracker isn't a lie. But I figure I'll at least try that for this week and see if it proves useful, because if I'm a little bit more conscious about what I am ingesting, then hopefully in turn I will ingest better. Yeah. But one of my tasks was to plan date nights for this month, and I have planned one of them, so we're gonna go see The Age of Discovery with James May. I have limited idea as to what it's about, but Vogel likes James May and I think he's alright, so why not? One thing I do want to do before I get into bed is set the timer on my heater so that it actually turns on in the morning. Or like turns on before I get out of bed to incentivize me to get out of bed. I have done this once before, but I don't remember how to do it, so we might not film this process because I might have to look it up. And I use my phone to film. I think I have set this correctly, but I also don't think the time on this is correct, so I might need to adjust that. 24-hour time just confuses me. I'm not good at time math. Alrighty, I think the time is right now, and I think the timer is on, so we'll just turn it off for the evening and hope for the best. Fingers crossed I didn't stuff that up. But we must also do the downstairs one. officially in bed by 9:15 though, just writing in the 5-year journal, watching some YouTube, and then I'm gonna try and get some reading in. And I'm definitely going to try because I have the book club meeting coming up this weekend, and I've kind of been putting off really reading the book club book, and I don't want to get punished at the meeting. That's not a punishment for everybody, it's just if the hosts don't read the book, they get punished. And as a host, I must read the book, because I do not want to be punished. If you wanted to join the book club though, we would love to have you. It is completely free, it's 1 book per month, totally optional, and you don't have to read every single month if the book isn't really for you. This month's book is a romance called Wild Love. I have not gotten very far into it, but it's starting to get interesting. And next month's book is a mystery. I think it's called The Only One Left by Riley Sager. Again, I have no idea what that's about because I think that any kind of blurb is a spoiler, so I avoid them like the plague. I'm just a little bit sensitive to spoilers, especially when it comes to my reading. Once I've done the 5-year journal though and I get into reading, it means that it will be time for sleep, in particular sleep from my phone, who's going into the phone B&B. So I'ma say good night. Good morning, happy Tuesday. The heaters came on as per schedule, which was just a really nice way to take the chill off the air. So getting out of bed this morning really wasn't that hard. Also, I found that I got out of bed at like 7:10. The heaters came on at 7. My alarm typically goes off at 7:30. And one of the things I know about myself is that if I get too overheated when I'm in bed, I start to get uncomfy and it incentivizes me to get up. I'm not necessarily sad about the timing of that, so I'm gonna try it out for a couple more days before I make any changes. If I find that I'm consistently getting up earlier than I want to be, then I might go and change that to be more like the heater kicks in at 7:20, so I get up at 7:30 or whatever else. I do also think that getting into bed earlier helped though, so being kind of like sleep ready by 10:30 was also very beneficial. I'm feeling pretty well rested, I'm ready to do my walk, and also try a new flavor of overnight oats today, so that's kind of exciting too. Actually, what I'm most looking forward to is getting this den kind of back to normal, because while it was fun to do game social with Vogel and have him gaming on here and me gaming on the telly, it is just hard to operate in. Like, despite yesterday saying that I was gonna go do my stretches, I got down here and I'm like, yeah, nah, there is no floor space for that, so maybe not. I did end up doing some kind of like light stretching in bed, just ones where I could actually, you know, stretch my neck out and my shoulders and that kind of a thing without having to get out of the bed, but it wasn't really what I was hoping for or aiming for. I'm actually tempted to go and find a stretch routine you can do in bed, at least so I have somewhere to do stretches until we get all of this sorted. Actually, it got me thinking about rearranging my office again, and I know that that is not one of my projects or goals for the 3-month challenge, so I kind of need to like set it to the side, but it's in the back of my mind. It's like, ooh, we could rearrange our furniture again. Anyway, for now it is time for The Walking Dead. After 2 weeks of apple pie overnight oats, I decided to try a new flavor, so we have a strawberry one. Got myself some strawberries on top, and I also put some strawberry syrup in here, so it would actually flavor the oat portion. I figure I could probably have like vitamized some strawberries, but syrup was honestly just easier. It's actually pretty good. I was kind of skeptical that it was gonna be like too sweet, especially because it smelled really sweet, like just the oat base. I think the strawberries themselves are a little bit tart, so it's a good kind of flavor balance. I just finished watching my episode of The Walking Dead, and then it was time to go get ready for the day. It's always me procrastinating and then finally being like, okay, it's time for work, and then there's an update on the app. Grr. But the main work task for today is to get Saturday's video sorted. I don't foresee that taking me the entire day, and I very much hope I haven't jinxed it, so I'm gonna have to find something else to do after that, because I would like to make the most of my work day. It would be nice to feel a little bit ahead on things. Maybe I could get started on the newsletter, but we'll see how much time I actually have after getting Saturday's video done, because all of the voice recording for that is done, but none of the clips. And I know that this style of video, where I do all the voice recording first and then find clips to put in over the top of it, typically takes me the longest to edit. Like, for, you know, amount of time of voiceover compared to the amount of time editing, that is the longest. The vlogs are only really a long editing time because there's a lot of footage. This one doesn't have necessarily a lot of footage, it's just a lot of brain power to think of the footage that would be best to put in the video. Yeah. Yes, let us go. Essentially, to do this style of video, I just play back and see what I've actually talked about, and then I write myself a filming list that is kind of like grouped by the color codings I use. I use rainbow order to tell me what different chapters I have. I haven't actually at this stage gone through and made sure I want to keep all these clips at the end. You can see that they kind of break the rainbow order we have. So first port of call is go through, make sure that all of this is actually staying in the video, because there's probably a lot of me repeating something because I got the wording wrong. And then once that is done, we can go and organize the filming list. Progress report for this 10.5-minute video. So far I have spent 4 hours collecting and editing footage. So yep, definitely one of those videos that requires a lot more editing time than the length of the video in the end. I already knew this about this style of video, but I do know it's going to be a really good resource for people, so it's all going to be worth it in the end. At least I hope so. Otherwise that'd feel kind of lame. For now though, it is 1:04 and there's time to go have some lunch. It is 2:30 now and we are exporting the video, so it didn't take a full another work block, which is nice. But I have to still figure out a thumbnail and upload it and all of that kind of stuff, and I hope that that doesn't take the rest of the work block. Thumbnail made, video uploaded, but I'm kind of irrationally amused by the whole check this out thing because of the page I decided to use as example lettering. Like, hey, you should watch this video. Sigh. These are the kind of things that are funny when you don't have actual colleagues. We do have one more work block left for the day though, and I think I'm going to use it to plan next week's video or plan the newsletter. One of the two. Psych, I did neither of those things. I got distracted by admin, did a little bit of journaling, like reflective journaling around content creation and such, and now I've gotten to a point where I'm feeling quite low energy, so I'm gonna call it in for the day about 40 minutes before the scheduled cutoff time for work. Mainly because I'm taking a follow my joy kind of approach, and I'm gonna do something else on my goals list. In particular, I want to plan wedding drinks, so I'm gonna do that. This project has started well. I went online to go and look up mocktail recipes because I was just curious. And I'm like, oh, I actually probably should check with the people who are doing our drinks as to what we need to provide. Emailed them at 4:55. They got back to me at 4:59. Sure, half the email doesn't make sense because I think they typed it quite quickly, but I got what I needed to from it. I should probably start writing a shopping list. There we go. We need to buy ice. One of the things that I did to help us out was do a little survey with the wedding guests to see what kind of things they actually drink. So about 75% of the guest list does drink versus 25% who don't. Of the people who drink, this is the kind of thing they do drink. But then I also wanted to get a feel for what they were most likely to drink. So white wine, spirits, and beer being the top contenders. Also good to have a question for the non-alcoholic options, so we have a few in there too. But now I just need to take that information and apply it to my shopping list, which is coming along very slowly. Need to figure out how much of everything I need and thus what I need to get. Vogel has come to be part of this discussion because it is important that he is happy with the choices.
He's a bit tired though, that's why he looks grumpy.
Wah, wah, wah. There we go, I have my shopping list and now I want to go see how many of these I can get online. Notably, I'm not going to buy ice right now because it'll melt before the wedding. Like, sure, I could stock up my entire freezer of ice, but I think that's going to be like a buy the day before type deal. That one has been placed and hopefully will arrive tomorrow. Essentially anything that's available at the supermarket, I added to that order. So the wine and the mixes and all of those kind of things, that is on the list. It was a little bit pricey, but less pricey than going to like an official winery and buying wine from there. Plus a lot of the mixes were on sale, which is why I ended up buying them now. I always get worried about buying food items, and in this case drink items, in advance, because I'm like, what if they're bad by the time we need to use them? But the wedding is literally a month away, so I think we'll be okay. I can at least check off that plan wedding drinks has been done. I just need to finish buying the wedding drinks. I'm tempted to see if I can go and order those ones online too, because if I don't have to leave the house, it's kind of a win. I went and looked it up and then I remembered that my mum is actually going to be traveling internationally in August, so I might get her to pick me up some bottles and then it's slightly cheaper. Haha, we love savings. For now though, with that job kind of done, softly done, I think it's time to go have some dinner. Just when you thought everything was okay and the shower was gonna be fixed, another thing is broken. This time it's the exhaust fan. Why not?
Yep.
I jumped back on the walking pad because I needed to get some more steps in for the day, and now as we've hit 8,000, I got Vogel to help me. Well, actually he just did it, but he moved the toy box from here so that I could kind of slide the walking pad under here and just open up the floor a little bit. I figured that by having it under there, or at least kind of half tucked under there, gives me the opportunity to have a stretching space. Thank you for your help.
You're welcome.
After moving the walking pad, getting my stretches in, and then just watching some YouTube, Bogle and I just chilled out, had another little game social evening. I started Assassin's Creed Valhalla, he started Alan Wake. Neither of us have gotten very far into it though, because now it is 9:35. Bogle's just doing some dishes. I am getting into bed because sleep is important, and I need to read the book. I need to read the book club book. It's getting interesting. Like, I'm interested in the story. It's just, like, not super captivating yet. Like, I want to know where it goes, but I'm not, like, so totally gripped. I'm like, oh, I must forego bedtime and just stick with this book until, like, 2 a.m. or anything. Not that I would want to do that, but, like, sometimes books be like that. Anywho, the phone needs to go into the phone B&B, so I'm gonna say good night. Good morning. Happy Wednesday. On the cards for today is exercise, get ready, go to work, all of that kind of stuff. But also tomorrow I have my hair and makeup trial and I still haven't collected inspiration pictures. So that is like priority number 1 for today, along with, you know, getting other stuff done and whatnot. But priority number 1, find hair and makeup inspiration pictures for the wedding, because I have been putting that off. It's honestly just because I don't know what I want to do with that. Like, as somebody with hooded eyes as well, I always get kind of like sad about eye makeup, because it's like, you can do the whole eyelid and make it look super, super pretty, and then as soon as I open my eyes, it's all gone. For now though, it's time to get on the walking pad and watch some Walking Dead. I don't think I appreciate it quite as much as we were getting, because we also have all the bottles upstairs, but yay! Wedding drinks are partially here. That feels like tangible progress, but it is also in my walkway, so we're gonna have to find a new home for those. It's currently a little past 10 o'clock and I'm having real trouble with getting into work today. I just don't know what to work on, I guess, because part of me knows that I should make a video for tomorrow because I'm not going to be around to do a live stream, and I usually like to do a bonus video or something when we don't have a live stream. But I can't for the life of me figure out a topic for it. Like, I could do a work with me type thing where we get the rest of the month set up, because although I have the general structure for this week and for week 2, I don't have it after the mid-cycle check-in, so like maybe that's something. But then I also don't like the idea of trying to put out a video just for the sake of having out a video. I don't know, it's kind of that balance between having a regular content schedule and getting things out at a regular kind of time interval so people kind of know what to expect, and not putting out a video for the sake of a video. And then it's like, if I'm not doing that, then what am I working on? Because I would like to get ahead on my content schedule, that would be really cool, but I also don't feel very eager to work on the next video that I would be working on. I find trying to work on something when I'm not in the mood to work on that thing is like pulling teeth. It just makes the whole process go slower, the work isn't done as well, it's not executed as like efficiently as it could be. So I'm sitting here thinking like, well, what do you want to work on right now? And I can't answer that question for myself. Part of me is kind of tempted to film an office tour because people have asked about that previously, but I also feel like I would have to clean up my office to be able to do that, which isn't necessarily something that isn't productive, so maybe I'll at least clean up the office and then see how I feel after that. All things considered, it's not that bad, but there is definitely stuff that needs to be put away. The office is mainly tidied up now, but this guy here is my inbox and it's got some receipts in it that I'd like to sort out. So I figured I'd take a second and just do my budgeting, which really is more like just money recording. So money in, money out kind of a thing, so that I can keep track of what we're spending our money on, how much is coming into the household, thus am I going to be able to hit my financial targets, all of that kind of stuff. Later in the week, I do want to add some more money to my savings, but I'm waiting for next month because the foolish bank doesn't operate on a cyclic plan, it's a monthly system. So if I want my good interest, I need to like put money into the savings next month, not this month, because I've already done this month. But I'm just going through and recording all of the transactions. Thankfully, earlier this year, I set up a kind of like conversion system for myself. So I just copy the information that is kind of like output from my bank statements and stuff. And I have systems set up so that then it like changes it into the format that I like to use. So categorizing things, listing the place that I spent the money, listing when it was spent, all of those kind of things, rather than having to go through every single transaction and do that myself, it just does it for me. So essentially I copy all the data on this side and stick it in, and then it formats it in the way that is going to be used in my tracker. It's always nice when changes like this can really just speed up your process, because doing the budgeting and like putting all of this stuff into our tracker used to take me hours. Like I would put it off and then it would take even longer because I put it off because it was just so ugh. Nowadays it takes me like 15 minutes. I love Excel. At this stage though, I've made things look a lot more presentable and I've vacuumed the floor. There is still some stuff to put away, but I think I might just put it into one of these spare boxes for now because I'm in the mood to film. I just need to make sure that putting it away in a box doesn't mean that I like forget about it and don't tackle those this week, because one of my priorities for this week is to get those remaining decluttered items gone, which really just mainly means listing them online for sale or for pickup or whatever. I was literally just about to start filming and then I got a package. So now I need to either find somewhere for this to go or just like kick it off to the side and deal with it later. I think I might make it a future me problem because I couldn't be bothered unpacking it when I'm in that like, yeah, let's get ready to film kind of mindset. We can make that my after lunch treat. So far it's about 1:45. I've done the entire of the closet and 2 sets of drawers. I'm onto the 3rd set of drawers now, and I haven't done anything on that side, like the drawers over there or the shelves or anything. This is taking longer than I thought it would. I am definitely running out of energy for it, but we persevere. Though I should probably also have lunch. I just don't want to eat lunch and then have food stuck in my teeth, because that would be not great. It is now 3:34 and I have just finished filming the video, so the chances of getting it edited for tomorrow looking kind of slim. I did at least take pause in the middle there to have lunch though, so I feel good about that decision, because yeah, I was getting like hangry. The energy was well low, which does not make for a very enjoyable video most of the time. But it's cool. We need to go transfer footage and do some editing. It's 6 o'clock now, that one is exporting. I still need to make a thumbnail, but that is a future me problem. Because right now I need to frantically run around my office, get my stuff together, and head on over to Monica's, because it's Bujo Wednesday time. The Tylers have gifted us with whatever this is. I think it's supposed to be some kind of care package for the tiling, grout work, something. I'm sure Vogel knows, so I'm gonna leave that for him to unwrap. But Bujo Wednesday this week was just Monica and I, because sadly Rachel wasn't feeling well, but we had a good time just like searching through Instagram pictures and Pinterest to try and find inspiration for hair and makeup and nails and all of that for the wedding. And also started planning a trip that we might be taking next year. Hopefully that one actually goes through, because it sounds like it's going to be fun. And I definitely didn't find the perfect inspiration pictures for the hair and makeup trial that I have going on tomorrow, so hopefully it goes well. I think it'll be okay. I think I know in the vaguest of senses what I want, so it should be alright. Hopefully that is sufficient. But for now it is 10:15 and time to get into bed, so good night. Good morning. Happy Thursday. We are getting ready to do our walk. Sadly, sleep was subpar last night. I woke up at 5:30 for some reason. I was like, no, this is ridiculous. We're going back to sleep. Couldn't really get back to sleep, and then at 6:30, one of those civil defense alarm things went off, which when you don't have your phone right next to your head, at least it's quieter, but it also means that it goes on for a while and it's not easily accessible to turn off. It does mean that I'm now running on less sleep than is ideal for the day, so I feel like today is going to be a lower energy day than a typical Thursday would be, which is already a low energy day, so we'll see how that goes. We have the hair and makeup trial today, which I am both excited and nervous for, especially considering I don't necessarily have any solid, like, this is the picture of what I want or anything like that. It's more so just very vague ideas. But in order to get to that on time, we need to get walking. The body is clean, the hair has been dried, because I know you're supposed to show up with dry hair. I think you're supposed to show up with like day old hair, but I wash my hair every day, so I'm like, it's just because otherwise my skin feels so super gross. Like, the hair itself is actually kind of fine. It's just that all through there, my skin gets like hot and tight and gross, and it's probably like all in my head, but I don't care. I don't like it. So I figured I'd probably just show up for my trial like I'm probably going to show up on the day, because on the day I will probably also wash my hair. For now though, I need to figure out where I'm going, get my stuff together, and leave. So we're back at home now. I am still getting used to my new face, which is not permanent, obviously, because at the end of the day it will come off. But I have been instructed to leave it on as long as possible, just to make sure that, you know, it lasts and that kind of thing. It is certainly weird anytime I catch a reflection of myself, because I'm like, who dat? Anyway, but more excitingly, haha, the pencil case arrived, which means I can get my calligraphs out of the bottom of my closet. Because I didn't want them on the floor and I didn't want them on my desk, so they're all just sitting in here waiting. It's gonna feel very satisfying to have them all put away. The elastics are pretty tight, so I did struggle to get a lot of these in, but I've essentially come to the decision that they either need to be spaced so that there is a gap, so instead of using like every single loop, I use every second loop, which gives me this kind of arrangement, which is great for being able to close each of these panels, but I won't fit all my pens in that way. So I got out my scissors and decided to do some DIY. I've essentially gone and cut every second one, so then there's a little bit more kind of give on the elastic, and then I've fed 2 into 1, and then 1 into 1, and then 2 into the next one, and then 1 into 1, so on and so forth. It means that I can fit a lot more pens in. I feel like I'm really giving the zippers a run for their money, but all of the pens are in here, and it is tight. I feel like this case would have benefited from having just like a little bit more wiggle room, both in the actual kind of like slots for the pens and also in zipping it up. But they're in there now and they're in order, so they're going to be nice and easy to find. For now though, I need to put this one on the shelf, order some sushi for dinner, and then go pick up Vogel and the sushi. Normally it would be date night, but we were originally scheduling to have date night tomorrow, and it's kind of funny because the event we were going to was called Wellington on a Good Night, and then earlier in the week they had to email us to tell us, in fact, it was not going to be a good night and the weather was going to be poor, so would we like to move it to Saturday? So date night's actually on Saturday this week, which means that once we get home with our sushi, it'll probably just be chilling on the couch and playing games, which I could definitely do with. And also some reading time, because I need to finish the book club book. Totally scoffed the entire of my dinner and didn't show you what it looked like, but it was tasty. We enjoyed it. Sorry. Vogel, was your dinner good?
Yeah, it was good.
What was your favorite part?
Karage, even if it was a bit cold.
Karage! Yay!
Yeah.
After an enjoyable evening of gaming and definitely too much food, it's time to think about going to bed, which means it's time to think about taking my face off, which is definitely one of the perks of not typically wearing makeup. I don't really have to worry about that at the end of the day, but I did very much value getting the hair and makeup trial, even if only to just like meet the people who I'm going to be working with on the day. That was kind of nice, and also just get a feel for like their process and like what we could do and all of that kind of stuff. Ask them my questions, have them ask me questions, all of that. But now it's time to take this off. I don't really know which of these I'm supposed to use first, but this is what we're using. Here we have before and during, eek, still during, and done. Face is looking clean, which means that it's time to get into bed, so I'm gonna say good night. Good morning, happy Friday. I'm feeling a little strange today. I know probably in part that's just because of poor eating choices yesterday. I ate too much and I ate stuff that was not aligned with my health goals, and the body is trying to tell me that it's not happy so that then I don't do it again, or at least I do less of it. For that reason, I've decided I'm going to change up my morning just a little bit. I'm not getting straight into exercise. I might just hold off for a little bit until the body kind of calms down and settles a little. And also, because it's the first of the new month, it means that there are some things that need to happen. 1, putting money into savings, which I've already done. 2, analytics day, because I like to take kind of snapshots of all of my analytics across the different platforms that I post on the first of any month. Just lets me kind of track how I'm doing across all of them. Things like how many people do we have signed up for the email newsletter? How many people are listening to the podcast? How many people are hanging out on the YouTube community? That kind of stuff. Also, if you want to be part of the YouTube community, you should hit the subscribe button. But only if you want to. I'm not your manager. I'm not going to make you do things. I just record each of those values in here, and you can kind of tell which ones I pay more attention to, because those are the ones that we actually see growth in. This one always amuses me, because I do not go on TikTok. Because collecting a lot of those stats does mean going on social media before I've done my official morning routine. I'm kind of giving myself a pass on that one, just because I'm feeling weird today. I at least have my walking clothes on, so once that's done and once the body is settled, I can get on the walking pad and do my walk. I want to at least make sure I walk before I have a shower. But because we have officially hit the new month, my priority for the day is finishing the book club book, which means that with my goal time this afternoon, I might just read. I'm actually quite enjoying the story, so I'm not looking forward to doing that. But I do kind of wish that I started this book earlier and paced myself a little bit, because it would be nice to enjoy it for longer, or at least feel less pressured to finish it. Given how many numbers I have to write down in the system, I'm kind of tempted to just do this digitally next year, and then all the math can be taken care of without me having to rewrite things. In the sense that I like to record stats at the start of the month, and then start of the next month, and then the change. Like, did it go up, did it go down, and by how much? It's now 8:42 and I think I've worked myself up to it. I did notice I was just kind of wasting time on the internet. Haven't written myself a task list for today. Probably should have done that, but walking first, mainly because with the broken exhaust fan, we have somebody coming to check on that later today, and I want to make sure that I am walked and showered before they get here. I haven't even gotten on the walking pad yet, because I'm just like, I really shouldn't have left it this long, because now I'm hungry. Do I eat breakfast first and then walk? I feel like that's the most sensible thing to do here, because I'm literally just going to spend the whole time hating my walk because I'm hungry. So food, then walk. And this is why I don't like to change the order of things, because I have a system for a reason. But also I know this was because I wasn't feeling well, so really this is just a reminder to eat better so the body doesn't get annoyed at me, so that then I don't feel unwell, so that then I can do my morning routine. Something I in particular want to watch out for today though is kind of like using the initial morning waking up not feeling very well to kind of derail the rest of the day, because yes, I was not feeling well. I did take some time off, you know, just a little bit of time to get myself feeling better again so I could get on and do other stuff. I don't want to then kind of like lean on that for the rest of the day and then be like, oh, I can't do anything because this morning I wasn't feeling well. Like, now I'm feeling fine, especially because I've actually started eating something. It's kind of like, don't let a bad moment make for a bad day, or don't let a bad day make for a bad week make for a bad year, that kind of stuff. Like, yeah, if I was feeling genuinely sick still, I would probably be taking it easy today. I'd be looking at my task list, considering what could be put off, considering what's essential, very much try to just take it a bit more chill. But I don't actually need to do that today, and especially given a lot of my work day yesterday was taken up not doing work, like getting the hair done and all of that kind of stuff, which was a little bit of fun. It does mean that I have a few more work tasks that I would like to kind of cram into the morning, and now I am running behind on the morning. Not going to beat myself up for that though, because that's not going to help anything. For now, I'm going to eat my breakfast, have my walk, go have a shower, and then get started with things. Up first though, we need to write a list of things that I need to get done today so that I can tackle the day with a little bit more intention. And now as that one's done, we've got the electrician here looking at the exhaust fan, which hopefully is going to be an easy fix, because why do things keep breaking in my house? Again, not gonna let a bad moment ruin the week, because we have stuff to do. In particular, I think I'll start with my inboxes and getting stuff out of there, responding to emails and such, because it's just a good, satisfying feeling when it's done. We have 7, 29, and 6 to start with. Some progress has been made, but the fan, we don't know. We don't know what's wrong, and we could go like troubleshooting and hunting for an issue, but more likely than not, it's just gonna be cheaper to get a new one, so that's on the cards for this week too. I think the most irritating part is not knowing when the exhaust fan is going to be fixed, and thus not really knowing how long I have to avoid cooking things on the stovetop, because I don't like cooking on the stovetop without an exhaust fan. Like, I know it's doable, but I don't like to do it. So in terms of meal planning for today, I either need to pick out foods that don't use the stove, which is not my default setting, or I need to figure out where we're gonna go get something to eat. That is a future me problem though, because right now I need to do inbox 0. Gotta quickly film that there are 0 items in the work inbox before something changes. Aw, yes. That means that I currently have 2 emails in the personal inbox and 4 in the home inbox, but those need something done with them, so I'm not going to move them. I don't want to file them away somewhere and then forget that they're there and then not do the things I need to do with them. I've also gone and added the tasks associated with those to this list so that then hopefully they get done in a timely manner and I can get them out of the email inbox. For now though, it's time to start thinking about the newsletter. I'm getting it done, albeit slowly and with minimal distractions. In this newsletter, we're talking about challenge planning because it has been really helpful already this week. Even just doing the challenge planning, like I haven't really undertaken a lot of the actions that I set for myself in that space, but I've got my list, and even just actually putting the heaters on so that the house is a little bit warmer in the morning has made getting out of bed way less of a struggle, and thus getting to exercise and getting my morning underway not as bad. I mean, not this morning because I wasn't feeling like the greatest, but that was a different thing. That wasn't because the house was cold. If you wanted to read that newsletter and sign up for future issues though, there is a link in the description box for you. Also, I don't know if I should call them issues or episodes or editions when it comes to the newsletter. Sometimes I just call them newsletters. The newsletter is ready to go though, which means I am gonna go have some lunch. Also, I didn't realize we were so close to 13,000 people on the newsletter team, so if that is you, thank you. I appreciate that a lot. It's just nice to know that people care. Especially because I do not consider myself to be the best writer, but it is a skill I am improving through the newsletter, so thank you for helping me become a better writer. It's now 3 o'clock and thus time for lunch. I did not mean to leave lunch that late, and this is why we definitely need to put on an alarm so that I go to lunch. I think that's going to be my after lunch job. Before we get into the alarm setting though, we are working on this, which is essentially my session note document for tomorrow. Tomorrow we have the Summer Creative Retreat, of which I am a workshop leader, which I'm very excited for. It's always nice to be included. It's a lot of fun. It's essentially a series of online workshops that are presented live by a whole bunch of creative people, and you can kind of get in and do creative projects and stuff. Very good for anybody who's in like a bit of a creative slump or they just want to try something new. I'll leave a link to it in the description box, although my session will already be over. If you get in early enough, you can watch a free replay just while the Summer Creative Retreat is on. Otherwise, you can purchase like lifetime access or something like that. Otherwise, you can get what's called the permanent vacation, which is essentially a pass that lets you watch all of the workshops after the Summer Creative Retreat. As said though, linked in the description box. Now as that one's pretty much all written up though, I'm going to go through this ideas list of things that I can do to make doing my routines easier and see which ones I can action. I don't want to spend too long on it though, because I also need to do some reading, or I want to do some reading. And I need to do some reading. So I think I'll set myself a timer for 20 minutes and see how many of them I can get done. At time 0, we have 1 thing done, and I did that earlier in the week, so I'm hoping for at least like 4 things. Alrighty, the timer has gone off in the sense that it's muted and I don't want to listen to it, so how much did we get done? So I went through and added editing blocks to the future weeks so that I can pre-edit the vlogs. I set the timer for the end of day work alarm and for the lunch alarm. I found a nice quiet full body stretch routine, one where the instructor doesn't so much talk to you, but they just kind of like demonstrate what they're doing, so I can, listen to something else while I do that. And then the thing that I found for stretching, or at least I've decided that I'm going to listen to, is a series that I'm already listening to, which isn't really a podcast. It is on YouTube, and it does have visuals, but it doesn't rely very heavily on those visuals, so that's okay. This one, technically speaking, is more of a like sustained thing. It's not a one and done, but I have been doing that this week and it has been paying off. And I did investigate the Shishmeksa sleep noises, but they're not accessible in my country. So instead, I went and looked up how to make the Shishmeksa noises shut off. And while you can't use the Spotify timer, or like the sleep timer on Spotify, you can use the Shishmeksa ones. So I can like play the track or play the playlist or whatever, and then tell Shishmeksa to turn off after a certain amount of time. For 20 minutes of work, I'm not feeling too bad about that level of completion. For now though, we're gonna go downstairs and do some reading because this book needs to be finished. After doing some reading, I went to go grab Vogel, and then we had dinner, watched a movie, which was scary, and then I sat and read some more of my book while he played some game. Now though, it is 9:45 and thus time for me to start thinking about going to bed, which means the phone needs to go into the phone B&B, and I need to get some shut-eye. So I'm gonna say, good night. Good morning. Happy Saturday. We are getting ready to do exercise and then getting ready to do workshop week, or what I'm calling workshop week. Technically speaking, it's the Summer Creative Retreat, which is live workshops, of which my workshop is today. I haven't decided what I'm going to be doing for meal prep this week because we still don't have a working kind of stove region, and oftentimes what I make relies on the stove. Thankfully, last week's meal prep was kind of like a larger batch, at least for the lunches, and I don't have to do any cooking if I do overnight oats. So like maybe we just do the 4th week of overnight oats. I would like to do something else though. So we'll have to figure something out. With regular live streams, I don't usually get like super nervous before them. And typically for workshops, I don't either. But the body is just like, it's a panic today. I'm like, why? It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be a good time. We're gonna learn some stuff, both myself and hopefully the people attending. But I do need to get all my supplies out so that I actually feel more ready. We are setting the stage and it's pretty much time to go. Got my bits and pieces. We are backstage, ready to go. That one is all wrapped up now and it seems that people enjoyed themselves, which is a plus. I always worry with these sessions that people aren't going to enjoy themselves and then it's like, oh great, well, thanks for showing up. Vogel and I are discussing how to rearrange his office possibly so that then we make better use of the space and he is more satisfied in his working places. And by that I mean this one, not your regular work, because I can't help there.
I'll never be satisfied there.
Da-da-da.
Can I explain, internet, why I'll not be satisfied?
Yeah.
Our CO2 levels, for one thing, are above the recommended safety standard throughout the day. And also you don't have temperature control. But the only thing I like about my office is there's people I like there.
That's valid.
Yeah. And they did give me my own chair.
Oh, that's special.
Yeah, I do have a special chair because I've got a bad back.
And you got the same chair for this office, didn't you?
Yeah.
And do you love it?
No.
Why don't you just go swap the one from work with this one? Don't do that.
I literally was going to do that, right? So I took them both in. I got a person to come and do a workplace assessment and make sure I set them up properly. And I was going to do that. I said to Jess, should I swap them? And she said, no, yours is newer. Take that one. So it's her fault.
It's not my fault. It just feels like kind of wrong.
I was like 99% there and I just needed someone to give me a confirmation and they didn't. And I went, oh, I shouldn't do it then.
Yeah. Yeah, you know when you ask somebody if like, oh, should I do XYZ and you're really just looking for permission? Yeah, you should have just told me you wanted permission.
She's very bad at that.
Had a quick call with my mom. Okay, it wasn't quick, it was like an hour, but it was still a nice call and I just did some trimming of the headers for my journal and started mocking up the seating plan for the wedding. That is definitely not its final form and I have lots of work to do on it, and making the draft is actually a this week task, so I should probably do some more on it, but not right now, because right now we're going to go out and we're going to find a new extraction fan. Sadly, we did not find a new range hood. I feel like we left with more questions than answers. But we at least know some information now and can hopefully get it sussed, because that does not work and I can't cook on the stove without an exhaust fan. Or at least I don't want to. Vogel and I are on a quest this afternoon though. He's going to be decluttering his office and I am going to make the first official draft of the seating plan. That is the plan. I'm wondering if I want to do that on paper or like I find a digital space for it. I'm sure there's something online I can use. Let's have a snoop. I've decided to just go with old reliable, aka Excel, which is Bay. I love Excel. So good. Vogel's putting caps on my cables for me because he has some.
Jess said I kept too many, but I got rid of some.
So the first draft of the seating plan is looking pretty good. We have one side of the room and then the other side, but the other side has two possible options, just depending on whether someone does or doesn't make dinner. And then we have the head table up the top there. So I think I mean, it could be perfect, just saying. Am I a wizard? Did I do it all in one go? Maybe.
Yeah, you didn't ask me many questions, so you must have been a wizard.
I might be a wizard.
Yeah.
We'll see if this is actually the final form of it, because I know that at least in modern media, the seating plan is supposed to be like the most agonizing part of wedding planning, but that wasn't that bad. Knock on all the wood.
They will sit where they sit and they will like it.
Yep, if they want to get food, they'll sit where we put them.
Yeah. Vaughan runs a tight ship.
But what are we doing this evening?
We're going to go eat by a bonfire in the stadium.
Yeah.
At least that's how I'm interpreting it.
I don't know if that's actually what we're doing, but it is date night,
Yeah.
which means we should probably get ready to go.
Oh, fuck yeah.
What's the struggle, Vogel?
The sun.
Yeah?
I need to Mr. Burns this shit. Some of you are old enough to get that. To elaborate, literally anywhere I try and put this desk in this office, I'm getting afternoon sun, because we basically have water
the sun, and actually at the moment our neighbour's solar panel, they're all blinding me.
You're dying.
Yeah, so I'm trying to figure out the solution. I said, oh, well, I can face this way, and Jess correctly pointed out screen glare. So I'm fucked.
Well, that's a really good look for you. You'd get a really mad tan line though.
Yeah. Anywho, it's date night, so we'll deal with it later. Or never.
Evening out. It was actually a really good time. It was just like a fun novel experience, and it was in particular just fun dancing, like hanging out with a whole bunch of people that we don't really know, got chatting with the people at our table, having some laughs. It was also quite interesting that the dessert for the evening was DIY s'mores, which was messy, quite. Like a lot of s'mores ended up either in the fire or on the grass or probably on people's clothes or under people's shoes because of being in the grass. But this kind of novel experience is the purpose of date night, to like get out, go and do things that we wouldn't normally do, and that was really cool. We actually also saw somebody that we knew in high school and got to chatting with him as well, which was kind of fun. Like somebody who isn't in our typical kind of friend circle that we kind of more commonly see. For now though, I still have not finished the book club book. It is currently 10:23, so haha, I'm gonna do that. But in order to do that and not get distracted, I'm gonna put the phone in the phone B&B, so I'm gonna say good night. Good morning, happy Sunday. Given some poor choices around bedtime, delaying it because I didn't read the book earlier does mean that I'm quite tired this morning. It's cool though because we have the book club meeting coming up, which I'm excited for. Do need to get to doing like exercise and all of that first. But then once the book club meeting's over, I haven't really scheduled out the rest of the day. Usually it would be doing things like meal prep for the week ahead, doing my weekly reset in my journal, so I've got things set up. The weekly reset definitely needs to happen, but meal prepping, I haven't planned any meals for. We haven't gone grocery shopping, so maybe not. I do probably have to decide something easy that I can do for breakfast at least, because the lunches, I did make that double batch last week, so that'll be fine. The kitchen also needs to be tidied up because it's in a bit of a state right now, especially given that we haven't been using the stove. That means that the meals that we were planning on having, we couldn't have. We've been getting a bit of takeout, not necessarily aligned with my health goals, but I'm kind of giving myself a pass. I would like to stop giving myself a pass though, because I've been doing that for a little while now. Other than that though, I know I still have priorities on my priorities list that I want to take care of, and I want to go and action more of those things that are going to make routine completion easier for myself come next week. I found that the ones that I have implemented so far this week have been quite beneficial, so I just want to do future Jess a favor and make sure that as many of those are checked off as possible. For now though, it's time to go walking. One of the things that I'm quite excited about though is that Vogel has rearranged the lounge room space, so there's actually space on the floor for me to do my stretches tonight, which I definitely do want to get on and do because I haven't done them in a while and I've started to feel a little stiff. And I think that noticing that stiffness is really helpful for reprioritizing getting the stretching done. Kind of like highlighting the pain points or the negatives of not doing the habit. Vogel's ready for book club too. Yay! Do the dance! I haven't read a billionaire romance before. Or like I don't think that I've read one where it was very specifically called out. Like, I've read ones where it's, you know, the love interest is definitely well off, but given the fact that we got the title of World's Hottest Billionaire, it's like, well, okay, I can check that one off the list. In general, it was just a good time. Like, that's mainly what I'm looking for when it comes to reading. Especially considering it is the only thing I read last month, and I didn't even finish it last month, I finished it this month, so yeah. The book club meetings are always a good time, just getting to like share our thoughts about the book and hear about other people's perspectives, and it's always good because we never rate them exactly the same, or like it's very rare that everybody enjoys it or everybody dislikes it or anything like that. I personally quite enjoyed Wild Love. Is it anything super special? Probably not, but I haven't really read a lot in the contemporary romance genre, so everything's still kind of new and fresh to me, and I thought it was a good time. For now though, I need to write a list of the stuff I need to get done today because there's quite a few things I want to have finished before this week wraps up, and I don't have that much of a day left to do it. That and the fact my energy is like super low today, so I'm not sure how much I'm going to be able to get done. This is not an exhaustive list, there is definitely more to do, but we're going to start with the DJ survey because we need to pick out songs for the wedding. So we have the survey over here on one side, and then over here we have the songs, well, one of the playlists that we have. We're just kind of going through Spotify and figuring things out. Which song are you most excited for so far?
Avicii. And maybe also Shut Up and Dance for Me.
After much deliberation, we have requested the songs that we want and put together a playlist of ones that would be like kind of nice to have at the reception time. I am excited. I like music. It is a good time, and now as we've got those picked, it's just one more thing I can check off my list. For now though, I am famished, so it's time to go get some lunch. Lunch is over. I'm so glad that we got onto that because I was getting to a point where I wasn't very fun to be around. But it's okay because Vogel was the same. We do have other things to do this afternoon though, so we have to at least get along for a little while longer. Up next to do is the survey from our photographer so that she has all the information she needs for a nice, smooth wedding day. Survey time, yeah. The survey is done. We have written a list of potential groupings for photographs. I just need to kind of like check over that and make sure I'm fully happy with it. But another thing, off the list. Now Vogel and I need to figure out picking a range hood, so hopefully we can get that installed sooner rather than later so we can get back to cooking home-cooked meals. Oh my god. This goes on forever. We found this one. It looks adequate, so hopefully we'll be able to get it. I really didn't want this project this week, but hopefully it ends up being fairly painless. After helping Vogel declutter his office some though, then it was time to get on to doing the information pack for our wedding, just so that then the bridal party, groomsmen's, whatever, they all know what's going down. Know where to be, when to be, all of the things. Now it's time to help Vogel move his desk. Oh yes.
I can move it somewhat this way, but I can only do a little bit.
Okay, cool.
So, ready?
Yep.
Go. Alright, let's go a little more. Okay. I want to get it as close to this as possible.
Okay, well, guns.
Thank you, Bob. That was very helpful.
The desk has been successfully moved, and then Vogel and I headed out so that we could drop some things off at Trash Palace, which is essentially like secondhand goods and such that they can sell on, find new homes for, because now that Vogel's done his decluttering, there are things that we do not need anymore. Easy mode?
Easy mode.
Yeah. Now what?
We're going to go talk to someone about a range hood.
Ugh.
And then dinner.
Yay!
Much more exciting after that. He's going to call the supplier tomorrow for us and give us a bell back, about maybe 10:30. If it's in stock with the supplier, about a week.
And if it's not?
I'd pick another one because he said it could be months. So,
hopefully. Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
What's for dinner?
You're telling me.
Uh-oh. That was my job. We went and grabbed tea though, then had some chill time on the couch just watching season, I don't even know what, of Big Mouth. Season 8? Season 8. I hadn't quite gotten my steps for the day though, but now I have, so yay me. And I did some stretching, so that's better than the majority of the week. For now though, I do need to go and write my priorities list for next week, otherwise I don't know what I will be doing. So things that need to be done for next week, I need to write tomorrow's task list. Also need to fill in the routines, any tasks that I want to get done next week in general, priorities, and, well, it would be meals, but we don't have a meal plan yet. It's a little bit hard to plan meals when we don't know when we're going to be able to use the stove again. Like, I would say that we probably won't be able to use the stove next week, so maybe we need to figure out some oven-friendly meals or no-cook meals, and then maybe some days that we just go and have food out. Maybe lean more into the Wellington on a plate kind of experience, which happens all throughout August. We were in theory going to go and do one of those tonight, but we both got kind of lazy and just wanted to stay in. Gotta make sure that I check things off in my goals journal as well. planning meals will come, and prepping breakfast, like technically, kinda. I have prepped one breakfast because that's all that I had ingredients for. I'll give you 3 guesses as to what I prepped for breakfast for tomorrow. Yes, it was overnight oats, but I'm on to my last serve of the apples, so I'm probably gonna find something else after that. Maybe. Well, we now have a meal plan for the week. It is not that detailed, but at least we kind of know what's happening Monday, Tuesday, and yeah, that's it. Monday and Tuesday. But I'm now feeling a lot more prepared for week 2. We've got the priorities written in, the routines written in, plus a couple extras. Mainly because I accidentally added too many lines, but that's okay. The little task list section that mainly has the repeatable weekly things that I do for my goals. And I've started filling in a very vague meal plan. Monday's list of items is also looking pretty good. Even though I already foresee that next week is going to be challenging, 1, because a lot of the actions that I have to take are wedding related and they're things I've kind of been putting off, and 2, the whole range hood thing and thus how that makes eating more difficult, like my meal prep for breakfast hasn't been done this week as well. That is going to be a challenge, but I'm optimistic about getting things done and having a good time. It should be fine, or at least I'm going to keep telling myself that. For now though, I am well and truly zonked. I just want to get into bed, maybe read some book and then go to sleep. So now for something completely different. The heaters came on as expected. Nope, because it wasn't expected. We weren't sure. For now though, I'm gonna go have some dinner and do some stretches because I want to get almost every routine checked off. Wow. Did you just call Marie Antoinette some queen?
Yeah.
Wow. We do have one more work block left. I wonder if I'm too tall for this. This is the reference. This is also a reference. At this stage, I've made things look a lot more presentable though, and I've ironed. Wow, no, you do not iron the floor. We do have one more work block left for the day though. Wow.
Monica threw a chicken at me. I feel attacked.
That's right, it's on you. You go, Kira.
Wow, dog splat. We do have one more work block left for the day though. But bonjour.
Vogel, is your dinner good? Crickets.
When will my reflection show? No, I'm not Mulan. She was way more of a badass than I'll ever be. Looking at the... what's the thing? I promise that I'm not this bad at talking in real life. I might be lying. Before we get into the alarm writing, wow, no.
Vaughan Rain.
Also, I'm excited for it to be over because I just want to sit on the couch and finish my damn book. Probably shouldn't say that, but it is true. Oh dear, this is upside down now. It seems we have bird visitors again, being noisy. Ah! So she knows where we went. I did...
Some of you are young enough. Nope.
What's great is
So the last time I was here with this many seats, I was here for Ed Sheeran's concert, and that was around the time that I hit 45,000 subscribers on YouTube. And he said, like, there's 45,000 people here, this is the biggest thing we've ever had. And I was just sitting here like, that's a lot of people. Even though taking action on my routines this week was in no way perfect, I still feel really good about the steps that I took to make future action taking easier, make it more likely that I'll be able to keep up with those routines and make better progress because of it. Notably, the very helpful first step for that was doing the challenge planning, figuring out the kind of things I could do to make action taking easier. And if you wanted more information about how to do that for yourself, whether that be for the routines you're trying to build or your goals as a whole, then this video is the next one to check out. In that one, we go through the process that I like to use when I'm trying to challenge plan my goals. So thinking about the pain points and what I can do to address them. So click or tap on that one and I'll see you over there.